Hi everyone, welcome to Moonstone Makes. My name is Tommi. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as DynamiteTrujillo. Welcome to episode 121. Thank you so much for being here. Today is a bright and sunny summer Friday here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, a big welcome back. There are show notes for this episode. You can find them in the description box below. So if you are interested in looking further into anything I talk about today, check there for links. Today is a very exciting episode for me. I have my mojo back. I've got a few projects to talk about. I finished something and I've got a giveaway winner to announce. So that's really exciting and we are going to get into that first. I am on Patreon and Ko-Fi, and if you decide to contribute to the podcast at all, during any given quarter, you will be automatically entered to win a quarterly prize drawing. Typically, I make something for the prize. I'll knit something. Sometimes it's yarn, but most of the time it is a knitted finished object. And this time it is a knitted finished object. I'm not, though, going to show you the prize until my FO section because it is my FO. And this giveaway is for the second quarter of 2021, which means I am late, but it took me a little while to finish this thing. So that's why. But I do have a couple of other prizes that are going to be included in that giveaway. I'm going to show the first one now. This is a prize donation that I just got from Hey Country Creations. She generously donated a couple of stitch markers to the podcast. So I get to keep one and I am giving away one along with this prize that I'm about to announce. So these are the two stitch markers that she sent. They are beaded and they are beautiful. This is a rainbow heart. This is the pride marker and I am keeping this one for myself. This is the Cuppa marker. And it's a coffee mug or a tea mug, depending on who you are. I'm 100% a coffee girl, so to me it's a coffee mug. So that's the one that the winner of this prize is going to be getting. And thank you so much for donating these. There is a coupon code that she is offering to you if you're interested in checking out more of these stitch markers from Hey Country Creations. You can check the link below. And if you want to purchase anything, use the code MOON10 for 10% off your order. So that was very kind. Thank you so much for the donation and the discount. And yeah, check that out, MOON10, 10% off. On to the winner. So the winner of the prize that I haven't shown you yet, and the stitch markers, is Amy V. Congratulations, Amy V. You are a Patreon contributor, and I have your address, but I'll probably contact you just to make sure it's correct. Amy has been with the podcast for a very long time, so I'm very excited to send her this prize. Congratulations, and thank you for being a patron. And thank you to everybody who is a patron or who contributes on Ko-Fi. It's so much appreciated, and it helps out so much. I'm so grateful and thankful, and thank you if you are one of the people who contributes. So if you're interested in doing that, in getting entered into this quarter's drawing, check the links below. You can do Patreon or Ko-Fi. Either one will get you entered into the quarterly drawing. And I don't know what the prize for this next one is going to be yet, but I'm probably going to figure that out now that I've finished with the last prize. So without further ado, let's get into, was it peeking out back here? Could you see it the whole time? Let's get into, Let's get into my first FO and what the prize is, and then I'll talk about what I'm wearing. So this is my finished object and the prize for Amy. This is the Bojagi Shawl by Knit Boop, who is Raw, and this is a free pattern. So I definitely recommend checking it out. It was so much fun to make. It's an asymmetrical shawl, and it's knit with two yarns. I used Dream in Color Smushy with Cashmere, which is this copper brown, and this is a fingering weight yarn with cashmere. It's very wonderfully soft, and I loved working with it. It's in the Deep Regret colorway. The pink is Copper Corgi Sport Weight yarn. And it's 100% superwash merino, but it seriously straight up feels like it's got cashmere in it. It's so soft. It's the blushing colorway, and I used almost all of my yarn. I have a little bit of the Dream in Color left over, and I knit this using my Signature Needle Arts US size 6 needle, which is also going to be included in the giveaway. So Amy, you're going to get this shawl, those needles, and that stitch marker. So I had such a good time working on this. There's lots of garter, and then there's this slip stitch section, which is mosaic knitting, and I loved working on that section. That was my favorite section. I just really like slip stitches. This is a lace and cable section, and it's so pretty. It's a really, really simple lace and cable pattern. And we've got another slip stitch pattern, which, can you see my mistake? I forgot to do slip stitches on one row. So Amy, this row here was just my way of saying I love you while I was knitting this shawl for you. And then it ends with a garter section, and I ran out of the pink yarn while I was knitting this garter section. So to finish it up, I just threw in the brown to finish it up, to finish it up, to finish it up. I really, really liked working on this shawl. It took me quite a little while to do it just because I've had a newborn for the last 3 months, so it was kind of up and down with this shawl. I was kind of stuck on the lace section for a while, actually, because lace and newborns. But the lace section happened, I got through it, and then I got to do slip stitches and garter, and that went by super fast. So I definitely recommend this pattern if you're looking for a nice, simple, and beautiful shawl to knit. It's lovely. It's just like super lovely. I loved working on this. And it's kind of gotten me back into the idea of shawl knitting. It's been a while since I've knit any shawls. I've just kind of been out of it for a little while. You know, been going through like a non-shawl phase of my life. But I think I'm back into it with this. My next shawl, actually, I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be for Lucy, who's my 3-year-old. After she saw me working on this, she asked me to knit her a shawl. So I'm pretty excited for that. I haven't picked a pattern yet, but we'll see what it's going to be. I don't know. A good shawl for a 3-year-old? Does it matter? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what it is. But she did ask me for specific colors in it, so I'm actually dyeing yarn for it. I am the dyer behind Moonstone Dyeworks, which I'm currently officially on maternity leave for, but I did just start dyeing again. So 2 days ago I started dyeing again for the first time since I've had River, my son. And I started with dyeing yarn that she requested. So she said she wanted me to make her a shawl, and she said she wanted it to be pink, purple, brown, gray, and black. Can you tell she's my daughter? So I dyed some yarn with those colors, and it is drying right now, but I'm going to cast it on using that yarn whenever I figure out a pattern. If you have a suggestion, let me know. I'm thinking something really simple, maybe the Hitchhiker, which is a Martina Bem pattern, and it's just garter with like some doodly-doos along the edge, but we'll see. I'll also show you the yarn I dyed next time too. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's pretty, I mean, it's pretty basic because I have like a hard time dyeing anything that isn't purple, pink, black, or gray. But anyway, back to this. Yeah, this shawl. It's amazing. It got my shawl mojo back, and I'm pretty excited about it. And I cannot wait to send it to Amy. Okay. That was my finished object. Let's talk about what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Ranunculus pullover, which is a pattern by Knit Cafe Midori. I knit this quite a long time ago, and then eventually ripped it out up to about here, and then reknit it to fix how I didn't like how it fit. I made it very wide, and it was really short because I only had one skein of yarn. This is Julie Aslin Nurtured Line is the yarn. So I ripped it out up to the yoke and then reknit the body with less positive ease, and that also allowed me to give it a little more length. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing today, and I don't wear this top very often, but I decided to throw it on today, and I'm really, really enjoying wearing it. It's got like quarter length sleeves, it is cropped, and it feels good. It feels good to wear a knit tee, even though it's knit out of non-superwash wool. Feels good. It is like a heavy lace weight, light fingering weight yarn, but it's 100% non-superwash wool. And it's in the Tisane colorway. I do remember that. Okay, let's talk about my works in progress. I do have a couple of garments that I have cast on. The first one is okay, we are taking an unscheduled break from the podcast because my baby just woke up from his nap. So I'm gonna do the whole baby thing. And then I will return and tell you what's in this bag. Okay, we're back. This is River. He is nice and full, and he's gonna hang out here with me while I film the rest of the podcast, if that works out. We're gonna see. Hi, River. Ooh. Oh, good. Squirrel's here too now. Hi, squirrel. Okay, so living in my woodsy and wild project bag is my first work in progress. I have cast on the Look at My Holes by James Watts. This was published as part of a set called the Look at My Holes as Friends set. And Look at My Holes is a tee designed by James Watts. And there's a tank that goes underneath it called the As Friends tank, and that was designed by Jessie May. And I'm pretty sure I want to knit the whole set. So I've cast on for the tee, and that's what it looks like so far. I'm trying to figure out the front. I don't know which one's the front. That probably is the front. It's an all-over open mesh lace pattern with really, really big holes. And this top was designed as a top-down raglan. It's short-sleeved with a cropped length, and it's designed out of a sport weight plant-based fiber. I don't know what the original sample is made out of, but I am using some Shibui Knits twig. Is this too much cooing? Is this not gonna work? We'll see. Sorry for all the cooing. But this is Shibui Knits twig, and it's in the mineral colorway. And this is a 46% linen, 42% recycled silk, 12% wool blend. I started with, I think, 4 skeins of this. They're 50-gram skeins. And I'm working right now with this ball. And I originally had knit all of this yarn up into another work in progress that had been sitting and languishing as an UFO for a pretty long time. I decided to rip it out. It was a tank, but I can't remember the pattern. Ooh. But I decided I wasn't going to finish it. So I ripped it out, and I cast on the Look at My Holes. So you start with the neckline, and then I'm most of the way through the raglan increases now. And I'm going to separate for the body soon, and then there's not that much more to knit after that. It's pretty quick. It's a lot of very open mesh lace, so it goes by really, really quickly. And I'm using the needle size called for. I did not swatch for this project. It's a US size 9, and I'm using my Lick It interchangeable short tips. And it calls for a US size 5 for the ribbing, so I've got that too. And with my 4 skeins that I originally had, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have enough of this yarn to do the whole set. The tank and the tee were designed using the same yarn, which was a sport weight something, linen, I don't know, something like that. So I'm pretty sure I have enough to do both with this yarn, but I don't really want them both to be the same color. So what I plan on doing is I'm going to finish knitting the look at my holes. Is this too much? He's being really loud. Should I just break and come back later when he's asleep again? I don't know. I don't know. You're being too cute. You're being too cute. Yeah? So, what I think I'm going to do is finish knitting the tee out of the yarn as is, and then I'm going to take the remaining yarn and dye it. Now, it's linen, silk, and... wait, was it? Yeah, linen, silk, and wool blend. So I have acid dyes that work on animal fibers. So there's the linen content that the dye will not adhere to. So I think it's going to be a really cool effect having a yarn that has some fiber content that will get dyed and some fiber content that will not get dyed. And I'm probably just going to try to darken it up a lot. So it's this like silvery taupe kind of color, and I think I'm gonna add in some deep browns, maybe some black, to just try to make it much darker, and like a warm neutral, you know. So we'll see how that goes, but that's my plan for the Look at My Holes as Friends set. And I'm really enjoying working on this project so far. It's really fun. It's a really simple, like, I think 8 round repeat. And there's just a couple of rounds with yarn overs. There's a couple rounds with like knits and purls, and then a couple rounds with just all knits. And so it's really nice. It's a really nice pattern repeat that I'm really enjoying. And because the gauge is so long because of all the yarn overs, it's going by super quick. And that is my first work in progress. Hi. My second work in progress is living in my Katydid bags, space bag. And it's another sweater, another garment. This is the Daily Ritual Raglan by Park Knit. And if you watched my last video, my knitting favorites, you will have seen that I talked about pullovers and how I wanted suggestions for a pullover that you liked. Because while I have experimented with knitting pullovers, I don't often get a garment that I really enjoy wearing that much. So I kind of wanted something a little oversized, Positive Eve, kind of like flowy, cozy, cool kind of pullover. And by far, the suggestion that came up the most was the Felix by Amy Christophers. And I'm definitely going to knit that. I am listening to you because so many of you love it. I am definitely going to knit it. I don't know what I'm going to use yet though, because I don't really want to buy, I want to go into my stash, you know, I want to go stash shopping for stuff. So it calls for an Aran weight, and I do have some stuff I could use, but I'm not quite sure yet what I want to use. So we're holding off on the Felix, but it is in my future, for sure. But one that I don't think anybody suggested, but I was inspired by the Love Stitch Knits podcast, which if you haven't seen yet, please go watch it. It's so good. And she made one, a daily ritual, and it was beautiful, and I just loved the way it fit her, and it was already in my queue anyway, so it just, her podcast really inspired me to go back, check it out again, and ultimately cast it on. So it's a top-down raglan pullover with a turtleneck, and it calls for a fingering weight held together with a lace weight mohair. Well, I could dye that up very easily. I personally don't really like knitting with the lace weight mohair. It's I have a love-hate relationship with it, is what it is. It's really beautiful and soft and lovely in so many ways, but it's hard for me to knit with because it has so many flyaways while you're knitting with it that it just bothers me. So I don't really want to knit with it. I also honestly don't love the sweater fabric you get when you use it. I don't know. It's just not my thing, I guess. But anyway, so as an alternative, what you can do, I have everybody here. Everybody, no, squirrel, don't sit on that. That's Rivers. Goodness. So, you can use a DK. And I chose a DK out of my stash. And I did swatch for this one. I left the swatch in the other room, so I can't show you. But I did swatch, and it got me perfect gauge. And I am using a Wollmeise. This is Wollmeise DK in the, let's see, it's German. I did take a few years of German in college, so I should be able to say this. Unbeschreiblich. Unbeschreiblich. That's the colorway. Don't know what it means. Unbeschreiblich. Am I going overboard with the whole trying to pronounce it correctly thing? I don't know. Do you know what it means? Do you know what unbeschreiblich means? Am I saying it right? Am I saying it wrong? If you know what it means, definitely tell me. I would love to know. But it's this really lovely kind of chocolate brown, and it has some plum undertones. And it's a really beautiful color. This yarn has been in my stash since like probably 2013. It is some of my oldest yarn. I bought it from the Loopy U, which at least back then was like the only place you could get Wollmeise when Wollmeise was like really popular. I don't know if it is anymore. I honestly haven't heard that much about Wollmeise anymore, but it was like the thing to get back then. So yeah, I scored some and I never used it. But it got me gauge, and so this is what it's knitting up like so far. It is a very dense yarn. It's a very high twist, very energetic yarn. It's actually a really freaking weird construction. And if I can show you, I will show you what the construction's like. You're probably not going to be able to see that. But what it is it's 5 plies, and each ply is a 2-ply. That's the yarn construction. It's nuts. It's like so energetic and so twisty and so bouncy and so dense. And that's kind of why I never really figured out a pattern for it, is because it's so dense, and I didn't really know how to use it in a sweater because I felt like it was just going to be so like, you know, whatever that means. But I decided to just go for it with this because I have it. I have the yardage. I have 3 skeins, and each skein is 200 grams. And so I have about 1,400 yards. I'm knitting the second to smallest size, which is the size small. And it calls for, I think, like 10 or 1,100, 1,000 to 1,100 yards. So I have enough yardage. I figured I would just go for it. See how it turns out. So it's a top-down raglan, and it's a turtleneck. So at this point, now that I've knit a few inches down from the neckline, she does suggest that you pick up your stitches, knit the turtleneck now, so that later on when you're trying it on, you can kind of actually see how everything sits, and it'll sit where it's supposed to sit on your shoulders, so that you can try it on before you're done to determine the length and all that. The way the shaping goes in this sweater, I think is going to look really cute. I hope it does. I have bad luck with, I don't have bad luck. I don't know. I think I'm just really picky about how these things fit me. But the way the shaping is like once you get to the body, it just decreases to the waist, and then it's cropped, and it never like increases out again for waist shaping. So I think it's gonna be, I love that shape, and I hope it works for me in this sweater. So it's gonna be kind of oversized. It's gonna be 10 inches of positive ease, which is more positive ease than I typically make for myself. But I really want something with that much positive ease that I'm gonna really like wearing. So I hope this is it. But yeah, 10 inches of positive ease. It's gonna be cropped, but not too cropped. And turtleneck, long sleeves. I think it's gonna be really cute. I hope so. So I am using, again, the needle size called for this too on my Licka short tips. It's a size 7. And like I said earlier, I did get gauge for this. I knit a swatch in the round and then washed and blocked it. And yes. So we're moving along on this, and this is kind of my favorite kind of thing to knit. I love all knitting with like the construction as my interest. So it's stockinette, so it's just all knitting. And the thing that makes it fun for me is the sweater construction. The increases, the decreases, the shaping, the making sleeves, making a neckline, all that kind of stuff. I'm really, really enjoying it. So that is my second work in progress. My third work in progress is some spinning, and I have been working on this spin, which is the same spin I was working on the last time I talked about spinning on the podcast. And it is some, what is it again? It's Cloud Lover. This is just a card. This isn't a tag, because this was when I was in her club. So it's the December 2014 Fiber Club colorway. It's Spice Cake. 75% organic Polworth, 25% silk. And this is what the first half spun up like. I think I'm going to end up getting like a fingering, maybe a sport weight yarn. And here is the second half that I have not started spinning yet. It's gorgeous. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's all twisted up. But I love the way it's dyed. I love it when fiber dyers like leave white in there like that. It just adds this like beautiful like pearlescence to it when the white kind of shoots through everything. I love it. I think it's going to be really beautiful. And I'm spinning this on my Shocked Ladybug, which is my one and only spinning wheel, and I love her. And yeah, I'm doing kind of my basic drafting method, which is I draft straight from the braid like this. I don't separate. I don't like to separate. I don't like to pre-draft. I just draft straight from this guy here. And I do a combination short forward, short backwards draw, and yeah, that's my style. It's my fave. And yeah, Lucy, my 3-year-old, has requested that when this is done, I knit her a bunny with it. And a bed to go with the bunny, so who knows? She might get a silk bunny. Probably not. Probably not going to make money. But yeah, that's my spinning. That's everything I've been working on. And I think it's really great. 2 garments, a finished shawl, some spinning. I'm kind of surprised with myself. I'm definitely getting my mojo back. For sure. Ugh. Amy, I'm sorry, but the cat is sleeping on your shawl. Can you see that? You probably can't see it, but sorry, the cat's sleeping on your shawl. I will wash it again before I send it to you. So I'm really stoked about everything I've been working on the past few weeks. My knitting mojo definitely started to wane for a little while. I think just because it's summer, so it's a little warmer, and this guy has been taking up a lot of my time. And now that it's starting to come back, I'm very happy and very excited about it. So I will leave you there. I hope you are all having a really fantastic day. I hope you have a really great weekend coming up. And how's your mojo going? Are you knitting? Tell me about what you're knitting. I would love to hear about it. If you liked this video, please do feel free to like and subscribe. Comment down below. I love to hear from you. And if you're interested in checking out the Patreon or the Ko-Fi, there are some really fun perks in the Patreon where you can get yarn and things. And of course, you always get entered into that quarterly drawing for fantastic prizes. I am going to work on this week what I want to make for the next prize. So maybe in the next episode, you'll see that. Until next time, I hope you're all having a really, really great late summer. Or late winter? Is it winter in the other half of the world? I think so. I think so. Well, anyway, have fun, stay awesome, and we'll see you next time. Bye.